growth. And that is why we are making our own investments. We're working on lithium refining activity as well ourselves, because that's the best way to learn how to accelerate how to do something, is to do it yourself. End quote. So just to recap what Drew said there, Tesla said in the past that they have a pretty good raw materials runway. I'm pretty sure that they've said that 1 to 2 years in recent interviews. Actually, I think both Drew and Elon said that they have a pretty good materials runway looking out for at least a couple of years. And I said the same thing in my Tesla solving the materials bottleneck video. Now, also in that solving materials bottleneck video, I recommend watching that if you have any long-term interest in Tesla. How do you get those raw materials? And you have to pull every lever that you possibly can. And that's what Drew's saying here. We simply can't throw enough resources at this problem. It's going to require a global effort. And in some cases, it might require rebuilding the social agreement with people around mining, because one of the biggest bottlenecks for producing lithium and other raw materials is mining. And I think we need to have an adult conversation in the United States, particularly about the role of mining and how it can be done both safely and quickly. Right now, the average time it takes to get a mine rolling in the United States is 10 years, and some take even longer than that. And the final comment that Drew made here about they're working on lithium refining activity, I'm really happy to hear that, because they do currently have a cathode factory going up in Texas. And I was hoping that after the cathode factory, you move one step upstream into lithium hydroxide processing. And I'm hoping they start working on a lithium hydroxide plant next year. That would be really good if we start seeing construction for that in Austin in 2023. In summary, the 4680 production system, it looks like it's having some issues with fundamental parts of the production ramp. Now, I don't think by any means, I don't think that means that it's doomed, because the 4680 production system spans a whole lot of different technologies and a whole lot of different steps within the process of making a battery cell. So it looks like it's just the dry battery electrode part of the process. And it looks like they're slowly working through that and getting over it. Now, in my teardown video of the 4680, the deep dive series that I'm going to do, I'm going to walk you through exactly the importance of that dry battery electrode process, why it's extremely helpful to Tesla and puts them in a great position, but also why, if it didn't pan out, everything would be all right. You wouldn't be getting as much productivity per square meter out of your factories, but you'd still be getting your battery cells a lot cheaper than any other place, and you'd still be hitting a production rate that's higher than anybody else's, just because Tesla's worked on every aspect of the production system, and they've chosen the right form factor, the right cell design to make that happen. However, I think that the 4680 cell production will continue to improve, and they'll eventually master it. Now, at this point, it doesn't look like that's going to cause any hiccups or hangups with future vehicle production if they continue at the rate that they're continuing at. We'll see how that continues to pan out. The right Tesla has been notoriously optimistic with the 4680 production ramp, so we just need to, hopefully people continue, or they will ask the right questions at upcoming earnings calls. We'll see how that continues to pan out. Tesla has been notoriously optimistic with the 4680 production ramp, so we just need to, hopefully people continue, or they will ask the right questions at upcoming earnings calls on the 4680 production ramp. With all that said, everything from my perspective with Tesla's overall vehicle ramp over the next year or two looks good based on what Tesla's saying and what we're seeing in the market. Any 4680 battery cells that we get are going to allow Tesla to roll out new products more quickly, and it'll be icing on the cake because they'll be able to get those cells more cheaply, and it'll improve their bottom line. I hope you enjoyed this video. If it provided any value for you, check out my Patreon or consider contributing to me as a YouTube member. As always, the links are in the description and on my YouTube homepage. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jordan Giesecke, and this is The Limiting Factor.
Hello! Welcome back to the movie. We're taking one of THQ's fantastic movies in which we sit down with the devs to a new video intro. Is in the best hands. But to spoil the game's content as much as possible, Meet the Dev videos haven't been too full of content. We've had some fantastic and have been given snippets of Lenny Moore's new sound as it plays in the background. All great stuff, which adds to the excitement of each new video. But with the last one, the views revealed more than they wanted, and I'm not talking about those cheap bland buns. No, in this video, we have 3 new locations along with the confirmation of something I commented on in one of my location videos. Without further ado, let's look at the first episode 3 of one of the developers. Unfortunately, the you want to crack my guess, but I'm interested in take a closer look at what's going on. Let's have some live play doing some manipulation and track. We can make it work. If you want to take a crack at it, be my guest, but I'm more interested in the visuals. Doing some image manipulation and track, we can sort of take a closer look at what's going on. Looks like we have some live gameplay running, hunt and everything. The basic HUD we'll be covering later as we get a much better look at it. But there is an additional box here that seems to have a Talon's head in. Could this be some info on who you've got to find? Maybe a set. I mean, to be some stuff on the screen. If you want to see an area and to sit and eat. Rather hard to but I hold back on saying it's in the canopy location of Ema. This may be in the farmlands, which we don't have a name for yet. Also, I'm noticing large barrels. These look like ones that would contain a type of alcoholic drink. In Outcast, you could get your hands on some bottles of Lappy, a drink known to make Talon sleepy when drunk too much. So, we know a sort of alcoholic drink does already exist in Adelpha, so the concept works. Elsewhere on the screen, we have a Talon with a crazy headpiece and fancy getup. I wonder what role this chap has. Maybe a leader of the area. He's looking a bit too fancy to be a Shamaz, the faith leaders and healers of Adelpha. Moving on, we have a few clips of what seems to be water simulation. I'm not too clued up with the Unreal Engine, but for some of these clips, it kind of looks like we're looking at waves. The files are called Fish Shoal 1. Fish population, each one acting as one fish, all put together. Exactly like a shoal of fish. We then have a shot of where this fish shoal sim is taking place, around a couple of rocks. I wonder if each coloured point refers to a fish head. Down below. Next up, we get a nice shot of gun textures. Some cool tech to allow you to easily place decals. The gun itself looks like an automatic weapon. In Outcast, the only automatic weapon was the Uza SH1. So completely different. In terms of names, the first thing I could see was a texture called T800 Metal. Yeah, I think that might be just the name of the texture and nothing else. Speaking of texture names, we have a for the most part, but there's a few labelled human, all resembling a term. Maybe human female. A hairstyle with a front parting. Previously, original Outcast and police Outcast, the only female does not match that of the texture. There's no texture. Next, we cut to an arrow having been stamped onto the gun with a selection anymore below. There's no out. We have a nice clip of a waving naked Talon after being and a quick look at the world around him. Fully the region with one riders from the gameplay. Let's see some play along with a bunch of breaking down. I like these placeholders, like something man would carve. The land in front of the land is along with a few huts, and what makes some creatures likely to it's quite hard to see much more than all the stuff in the way. But not this clip. No, the surrounding UI of the program has some big reveals here. We have folders full of character assets. From the top, you can see Golotite Guardian. Trying to build this Talon folder full of character models. So maybe a train is a female villagers. Or maybe Kid is the name of some regions. You then have some familiar location names. That's the desert region. Ema, the large canopy. Gizar, the female and child. The place of destroy. Possible. But there's a few more we haven't heard of. Bitter, Halana, etc. I feel very silly. This is very interesting. I wonder what here we see now on the area. Nice dark. Over here. Dark. That's another location we can find to. Could be going back more. I wonder if this is as literal as it sounds. We know there's a visit its love for its parts. Second, new gameplay. And as promised, let's take a look at the HUD. Energy shield and energy bar. A return to the short sprints Cutter could perform in Outcast. Seems like Cutter needs to go talk to him, the chief of the area. Top right, and the place to have it is usually the right corner. Which may be a way. Bottom left may be a quick inventory. Health potions, LW, turn it on and off. Now, let's have a look at this area. And a wheelbarrow. Scan a new location. Now, let's have a look at this area. And a wall to the I couldn't place this area. Like the farming walked around the outskirts of the dark, rather ominous in the distance. There's nothing to see here, so we'll move on. It's a mining operation. Maybe I'll put it in the ground. We can see a dressed guess is this is zero. The all being a waypoint. Love the clan who was who, and then be pointed in the right direction. In second contact, they did update this to have markers, so it takes a long time to digital method as you were on alien. But yeah, sporting code. Observations, we just have these beautiful lush appeal. You guys are also wanted. The world and its inhabitants look incredible. And that's here. But I have one location is Polana and Sapa. Looking at the updated map, we have three possible candidates. What I once thought was Ganza encapsulated into Propriana. So, what do you think? And which one is Sapar? Let me know in the comments below. Also, did you see anything I missed? And if you want to see if I did miss anything, go check out the Act 2 Discord. There's a lot of chats in there with Star College too. Thank you all for watching, and I'll keep as much as I can. So, watch Planet Delta's videos for on Outcast 2, and we'll be great interview with Steve and Poster and more. So, till the next time. Under the Moons. See you later.
One of the biggest mistakes about matter doesn't emit light, so we can't don't know what dark matter is, even in the universe. But we do know something. It's been around since it doesn't do that much. Turns out you could. So, could neutrinos be the solution to our mystery? Let's talk through it today. Start off, you might be wondering if scientists know what dark matter is. It's this. We can calculate how behave, what we know about gravity and the particle compares. There are three clues I want to point out. First, there's the speed which galaxies are rotating. Stars on the outside are less strongly compared to their center and overall structure of the massive universe. We see massive galaxies and galaxy clusters clumped together along a giant cosmic web, being separated by a certain distance. Finally, the way we see clusters clumped together along strands, like a web. And we also see a pattern of sliding galaxies and being separated by a certain distance. It's like a pond when you throw in a rock. Finally, there's the way that galaxy clusters exist. We've seen that when two galaxies, a bunch of extra mass. Not just at the a different kind of matter that up in our would provide all these weird observations. And so, we got the dark. Now, to be the fellow Asher Cat, who also studies dark matter with the Asher. Asher, the people want to know. Is dark matter?
No, but also a little yes. Like you said, the neutrinos have a lot in common with dark matter. Both dark matter and neutrinos, they're both all throughout the universe, and they each exist in history. But when they're moving enough or massive enough,
it's apples through an orchard. Or if you're really tall and slowly, first you're around through the trees.
And neutrinos are incredibly light, interact much through gravity or with speed of light means they can't cause these dense pockets of things to come together, and they certainly can't explain the phenomenon we have in the universe. We can run simulations of neutrinos trying to track the part of dark matter versus history, but instead they want to stars and galaxies and clusters of matter spread out across the universe. Of course, not what we see.
So when we talk about dark matter in something that isn't visible and has the mass of the universe, then yeah, basically neutrinos can't explain the observations we're trying to account for. Neutrinos are some of the dark matter, or the dark matter.
That's right. There are lots of ideas on what might be the dark matter. The most intriguing are WIMP and the axion. WIMP stands for weakly interacting massive particle, so something big that interacts through a weak force and gravity. Again, this is sort of but the gravitational that we see, we need a WIMP way more massive than our standard model neutrino. The top here.
A candidate could be a really heavy star, but that's not a based about the known neutrinos would have to look at you'd have to really work at tweaking the models to get a star neutrino with the right mass to be dark matter. Potential WIMP candidates aren't as restricted.
And dark particle doesn't have to be really. This is where axions and axion-like would be really light and extremely common in the universe. Axions would be a type of born in the universe. As a result, even though they're light, they'd be moving up. This could make them a great fit for the dark matter. Researchers looking for WIMPs and axions in a bunch of different environments. Some environments have scaled up to use several tons of very carefully for faint WIMP interactions. These for how
saying something because we know
axion experiments are also starting. How do you to interact and convert into really
matching what we know about mass and gravity. So what if we just understand how gravity works?
We don't know how gravity works, solar system level, at the galactic or galactic cluster scale, and we haven't been able to rule that entirely. But it also doesn't seem really convincing. There's a lot of information about how gravity behaves, so if it really it's everything. Plus, galaxy clusters.
Thanks, Asher. Thanks, Ruthie. Or hold on. For now, we know neutrinos play a small part of the dark matter. But if you like on the weird world of neutrinos, make sure to subscribe.
Fun fact. This found something puzzling in the fundamental solutions of the originally proposed a solution, and like clean up the issue with the usage of the particle.
Hello, pals, and welcome. Contrary to popular belief, I actually do have a voice and I can talk. And this is my first video doing that. This video requires me to talk a little bit because otherwise it would be kind of boring to follow just with text. What we're trying to do today here is 0 FPS possible, but I know we can get close to that. The thing I want to do is and just see constant 90. We can keep 90 as long as we don't know which is where most it is. The first thing I know absolutely destroy the FPS is if we turn to time of day to about, let's do 3 AM. FPS. You look at the front like how, oh my god, it's unbelievable. And we're still looking at kind of like the free area, so if we turn the camera to see less, oh my god, that's the 1 car so far. Let's go. Oh, this is already loading everything, but that doesn't count, it's just, that's not fair. And the car's moving and around. We're getting FPS. Wow. Like it's just 40, that's the traffic side of things. The CPU is, memory is 7 alright, CPU you know, 40%, so that's the traffic side of things. The GPU is holy. Alright, you actually find a bit, you know, I set the number of cars and vehicles. It was a 30. Which is weird. It was 30. We got 5 frames per second. You turn the camera on, and I got 45 cars. It's basically the same frame rate as the cars. Damage. Let's go and check out the specs and the stats on the GPU. See how they're still 45%, GPU 10%, so not really much change. I think I'm gonna get rid of the, I'm gonna spawn mods on 8. Now you have to see right here. Okay, that was solid 8. It's 8. Oh, I know, I don't know all of them. It's high. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Yes. It's only 7. Okay. Nope. So much to this. I got 6 frames per second. Yep, nope, that's basically 5 FPS. And I think the sound is gone. The lowest we're going to see is 5 FPS. It's probably because the bottleneck was the CPU or GPU, sorry, maybe it was the VRAM causing all the lagging. Being the actual cause of the low FPS, because I'm not the smart to figure it out. Because we want to see about the bottleneck, now we're going to make sure they're going to be. The way we do that is by spawning 100 spawn. Hopefully my is not going to do it. 3 FPS. 90%, 92%. It's all ahead. It's 3 p.m. The frame rate is basically the same. We more damage. Or the closest we got is 1 FPS. I think the game has Yep, look at that. All of them. I think I'm going to voiceover. I'm still going to be the same videos. But I think I upload also more voiceover a little bit, just adding to the content and kind of the videos. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next one. Bye bye.
Back.
Is a car sported a cutting-edge aluminium engine with a motorsports pedigree. It was mounted at the back when the rest of the car industry was moving to front-wheel drive. It was built in a brand new facility with the latest machinery, but hundreds of miles away from the suppliers. It also produced a car that was modern yet outdated. Why did Roots Group, a car company with a long history of making conservative, reliable cars in the heart of the car-producing Midlands, with the economy car near Glasgow? This is a Hillman story. Egypt is one of the modern wonders of the world, rivaling the pyramids of Giza just up the road. Built between 1859 and 1869, it's over 120 miles long. It's in the Red Sea, meaning ships don't have to sail around the tip of Africa to get from Europe to the east, shaving 10 days, and the mammoth 5,500 miles off the journey time. The 20th century was owned by the Egyptian government and French investors. It came as quite a shock to the world when Egyptian President Nasser decided to 1956, essentially the world being hostage, being able to charge any price he wanted for passage, or passage to countries he didn't like, so Europe into a panic, led to a bungled, which led to a pipeline, so oil being blown, petrol was something led to the world, rivaling the pyramids of Giza just the road. Between 1859 and 1869, it's over 120 miles long, connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. It's over 120 miles long, connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. To get from Europe to the east, shaving 10 days, and the mammoth time. By the 20th century, it was owned and operated by the Egyptian government and British investors. So it came as a shock to the world. The Egyptian president decided to nationalise it in 1950. Being able to charge any price passage, not country he didn't like. It sent particularly Europe, like the British pipelines blown up. Petrol was rationed. The war pipeline supplying 20% of oil blown up. Petrol was rationed, something previously seen in the second. Use less of that than oil around Africa. With Hillman's, Humbers, own price to investigate adults and 2 kids get to 60 miles. The initial reaction, maybe not so effective, as the slug rounded by continental after economic cars was considered to the low-mounted 2-cylinder maybe get 60 miles an hour yet up in their life. The project instigated by Mike Parks and Fry. Adults and 2 kids get 60 miles an hour and 60 miles an hour, and to be fun to drive. The initial proposal was affectionately, or maybe not so affectionately, known as the Slug, with a rounded shape inspired by continental bubble cars. The low-mounted 2-cylinder engine was put at the back of the car. Simple economics. The constant velocity joint needed for front was to extend. In any case, rear-wheel cars were a popular choice, and there would be front to rear. Clamoring for this to be produced, they tried economy car before in the 30s and the 40s. They didn't like the Slug's bubble shape. Ride in it. Focus everyone's mind. The car was approved as Project X, abandoned the idea. Like Slug, Lord Roots refused to ride in it. The Suez Crisis focused everyone. The car was approved as Project Apex, just so long as it could have a more traditional shape, something that would complement the rest of the lineup. That 2-cylinder engine would have to go. Roots cars had more power than that, so the team started searching for a suitable 4-cylinder engine.
He found it in an unlikely source. Roots needed something lightweight, compact, yet powerful. The company Coventry Classics FW or 1950 responsible for lightweight pumps for this, making much of it out of aluminium. It has been a hit, offering more power than many existing engines. The motorsports teams were knocking on the door and coming together to make it would power Jim to his 2 Formula World Championships. It was the ideal engine apex. The bubble shape was ditched, basic 3, but it needed to be a little more interesting. Project Apex's new look would be influenced by large American cars, shrank down to a pint-sized package, of course. It seemed to be influenced by a Corvette. They weren't the only cars to be thinking along those lines. The NSU Prince update in 1961 had a very this cool American design with hopefully inexpensive. Coventry Climax supplied 39 horsepower, 875 cc engine. Overkill, not yet reliable gearbox with full swing. It said was in such a package, but no one was talking in 1959 when BMC launched the Mini engine car. Their rear out of step. Not having to the layout wasn't an option, even if the car worked on their car for 4 years. They helped change the road cover pack arrangement that produced a kind when BMC a rear engine car for simplicity, the Mini put the engine up front in the column arrangement that must have some very the Mini road. Their rear for launch. Roots had been working on the car for 4 years. The change now means throwing away so much work and delaying the car further. They needed to get the car to market as soon as possible, especially as the Mini was proving it was a market for small economical cars. The UK economy was booming, so having a car to sell was more important than having something that was better than the Mini. In any case, there was still so much work to do, including picking a factory where it would be made. Roots' home was Coventry, and they favoured building a new factory right there. But in the 1960s, it was the government that told companies where to invest. They thought it was more sense, at least for them, to locate a factory 320 miles away in Linwood near Glasgow. It made sense to shipbuilders were searching for jobs. New factory right there. But in the 1960s, it was the government that told companies where to invest. They thought it made much more sense, at least for them, to locate a factory 350 miles away in Linwood near Glasgow. Sense of the government where shipbuilders were searching for jobs, especially with 2 local steel factories supplied. It wasn't Roots' first choice, but the government grants to sweeten the deal. Back in the Midlands, development had been starved, but with the Mini selling well, Roots threw money at the project to get it out the door. Rear engine was a relatively expensive semi-trailing arm engine had to use, further increasing the cost. Work on the gearbox was quick, but features like the automatic choke and pneumatic throttle were rushed out without enough testing. That way, Coventry Climax engine was having problems as well. The original goal was to have 3 engines, 800cc, 875cc, and 990cc. The weight of the new car being 145 kilograms heavier than the Mini made the 898cc engine proving unreliable. It was designed version from 875cc all the way up to 1.3 litres. The 875cc and 998cc. The weight of the new car being 145 kilograms heavier than the Mini made the 800cc engine impractical, and with the cc engine proving unreliable, decided to only offer the 875cc version, at least at launch. The Mini will be available in engine sizes from 850cc up to 1.3 litres, giving the customer many more options. They didn't know what it would be like until the news leaked a year before launch, even let the name. The development team wanted, which meant work fixing the gremlins was thrown in high gear. Between 1961 and 1963, drove the car through England and Canada to give it the toughest conditions. Roots wrote in one of the polls cars in the UK. Licenses, very houses were being thrown up as fast as possible for future workers, antagonising the existing community. Everything was being rushed to sit down the production, which would lead to problems down on screen. Production produced 150,000 cars every year, 40 half from around the world. The Hill launch factory. What he didn't know was the factory was only half finished, and the input had been rushed through testing. The Drove was one of a handful that had been finished. It had taken years to launch. Seeing our design, it didn't know design work started till it launched 4 years later and riding high in the sales charts. And the car was new in 1996. The economy wasn't at the top of it. It was larger than the Mini. Cost over 10% more, and was only £6 cheaper than the bigger engine. A poll by the Observer newspaper, we tend wanted to get engines, so many years in the mission customer go to rear window and a folding back seat that could be turned into a rear boot. Point. You'd have to lean over the engine to get this makeshift rear boot. The Mini and the Ford Anglia had the boot where people expected. Back. Mike Parkinson, his original goals. Now, 60 miles per gallon. 70 miles per hour. One linear monitor. The press is in the gearbox performance. Take the future and expected car make it easy. Expected. And for the Selwyn songs and singers. Hope it did ride in from New York to LA in just 50 hours. Average speed of 62.5 miles an hour. Despite being driven for 2 days in August temperatures of over 40 degrees C. UST cars tailored in August army of 35 miles per gallon in the shade over 48 hours with an amazing average speed of 62.5 miles an hour. With an average LA American Rodding would try an audacious stunt in the day 55 mile an hour blanket speed limit. They headed to ride in from New York to LA in just 50 hours. They made it in the shade over 48 hours with an amazing average speed of 62.5 miles an hour with an average fuel economy of 35 miles per gallon, proving that the Coventry Climax motors were up to the task despite being driven for 2 days in August temperatures of over 40 degrees C. Roots US team produced the Lord in special editions, make the first cars tailored specifically for men or women. The Lord Imp had things a man needed in a car like a ship-to-shore radio, marine compass, ship's bell, the normal things a man needs on the road. Being 1964, the lady's car would be the perfect present for a man to give to his wife. I'm quoting here. The Lady Imp comes complete with such totally feminine features as a hairdryer, princess mobile telephone, and cosmetic perfume console. It is richly upholstered in a bright and strikingly floral pattern. Understandably went down about as well as Honda's attempt to the car for women, the 2012 Fit She's. Zagato, the Italian coach building company, saw the Imp as something that they could produce and sell in Italy, with a little Italian styling, of course. They made a deal with Roots to produce the car as the aluminium-bodied Zagato Zimp, shown at the 1964 Earl Sport Motor Show. Austrian firm Steyr Fuchs tried their own version, the Farmobile, but the car ever sold the today. Roots' Impish Canadian marketing team said the Imp was made in the Highlands of Scotland by Clever Elves. The truth wasn't quite so jolly. They were being made by disgruntled unionised Scots near the replies. The wages at the Imp factory were the best in the area, but the workers were annoyed that they were being paid the same as the workers in Coventry. Management explained that the production rate needed to match The workers were having none of it. They claimed production delays stemmed from the parts, which had to come all the way up from Coventry. Strike action dogged the factory with 3 different unions, all vying for domination. Strikes would be called arbitrary matters like high vending machine. Unions felt for cars or parts manufacturers because they didn't need to work every day. Focus on union issues. They couldn't be working on selling or improving it. Hit the bottom line and the limit of work. Not being the internet tested all over the world and estimated it didn't around Britain, but it hadn't been driven down to the shop. By failing to test, many problems were missed. To compound this, strike poor quality at all. Soon customers were complaining of problems that throttle leaked like a sieve. Trained by Coventry, time to fix, involving more tests across the globe. Production was slowed by convoluted manufacturing processes. In shops used in Scotland sent to Coventry with fault. It was all very inefficient. Pointing sales. One basis is the logical step. It was spreading into the 1970s. Routes were capitalized in sport. Retained the 875cc engine, but with 5 horsepower in 90 miles an hour. As the advertising said, it was a Roman answer to designed out to relaunch it in 1965 as the Mark II, the new reliable 98cc unit was the first 65 sales were lower than 64 sales, 1966 sales were lower than 1960. Written pounds and they didn't stop routes in the van versions of the now expected to have high floor, which meant a high roof plate. It was better, which was faster than the M2. It had to look twice as if the car had the Sonic engine. It got a coupe look. Radio engine problems, so problems how to the hope and injection can see your future in the low cost, low market how to get engine. It launched an update that was already in development. Panel was swapped out for more conventional dials and the seats and fabrics all new. But the update for down customers buy 100 and 1300 and the new Ford F. But that didn't stop some from dreaming about what could be done. In 1962, Adams put the Pro 15 sports car using the chassis and original engine, all in a future light years conservative shape for 100 miles an hour. Launched to space routes or Chrysler UK as they now know looked at one more use of the IMP. The Nemo could solve really well in the 90s. Was duly created. Beyond the IMP, but production was set to end and the factory for years. In 1975, prior to this British route, IMP sort of closed out special featuring windscreen, radio, wheel, and natural plug-ins. It's ironic that while the car was sold like hotcakes in 1956, in 1975, sales barely ticked upwards. British the UK in a bad way. They threatened to close the government gave them a handout. Well, the government free was attached. Say open for jobs. Chrysler UK also they had a three-door version of the Hillman Avenger stage with Russian Boxer Chrysler Sun, which replaced in production in 1996. Jordan talked about it in the Hillman Avenger video, and there's a link above. It was 150,000. UK sales never got figures for exports. There were only 60% of total. So if you overlay these estimates, it doesn't sell better in case. The impact should have been production. Root should have used the mini launch as a reset to future-proof it, and they should have listened to the test engineers who were telling them that the car wasn't ready. You only get one chance to make a first impression. This was a car rushed to market, built by workers new to car manufacture. Production line more the problem. It should have been surprised that the first impression wasn't good, and that's a prime shame for both Roots and the British car industry. Sorry to leave you on if you want to hear more tales of why we're some extra bits, but
Добрый.
Hey, Steph, welcome.
AM. Like how we're still going to my god, this is CPU is is holy. Alright, you already found 5 bit I set a number of cards people should be was the for a second. And cards basically bring as cards damage. Let's check out the specs and stats but you see 0.5%, 2%, so now yes,